What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we are going to continue to talk about this contract voting process. I recently read the letter from Ballot that was sent to our local. I don't know if anyone actually opened it up to read the letter itself, but I did. I wanted to, and I thought it had some little bit more specifics in case you guys were curious as to what the heck actually happened regarding the vote tally. And then I'll give you a little bit of what I'm thinking now that we're sitting here waiting on a CIR decision. We'll get into that afterwards, but let's go ahead and read the letter. So this was sent to our business manager and our president. It says, "Gentlemen, when we presented the electronic tally for this election on 5/20/24, the tally indicated that there were more votes than voters. We investigated and found that certain voters had been able to submit multiple votes. After investigation, we have determined how they were able to do that and have eliminated the flaw in our system. We removed the duplicate tally records for every voter who submitted more than one ballot and retained only the first submission. We have eliminated the possibility of such a scenario in the future by checking the relevant tables on each submission to make sure that there are no duplicate tally records, in addition to checking the voter record. There were a small number of people who submitted a ballot with no selection. Those records with no vote remained in the tally. Consequently, the number of voters is slightly larger than the combined tally. We have provided for your consideration and further response a list of the people who submitted multiple ballots. Most were 2, a few were 3, and one was 12 times. The revised tally is accurate, and the revised result is true and correct. We can provide the additional data upon request. Sincerely, Ballot." So we have a clear description of what happened in the letter, and we can see now that there were some people who didn't pick yes or no, and that's why the numbers don't line up. And I think the difference now is like 9, but that explains the 9. So in case you were wondering and you were curious and you were having theories run wild in your head, 9 people didn't choose yes or no, and that's the difference per the letter. Okay, slide that out of the way. So where are we now? 3,700 people voted for this contract. Roughly 1,500 voted it down, so they weren't happy and they wanted to go to CIR. 1,600 voted that there was enough in the contract to vote yes to, and they voted yes. As it stands now, NECA is challenging not the money, but the language. The language which we were told was not challengeable at CIR. So there's just a big conundrum, because we were all at these meetings and we were told if we sent it to CIR, the language wouldn't be considered, it would only be monetary. And you have NECA challenging the language, so the two messages don't align with reality, because reality is NECA's challenging the language. And so now you have 1,600 people who voted for the language, knowing that the money might not have been right, but there was enough in the language, who are now having the things that they wanted taken out, or challenged to take it out, depending on what CIR decides. And I don't know what CIR is going to decide. Nobody does. It's a body made up of both sides. What are they going to decide? Who knows? But there is a potential here to wind up with 3,700 people who didn't vote for this thing. And what? We are in such a pickle right now. And Lord only knows how this thing's going to settle out. how it's going to look when the dust settles. But my message here today is one of optimism. It's not one of, holy crap, the sky is falling. It's not that. 3,700 people voted for a contract, one way or another, for the first time in my career at 26. 3,700 people cared enough to vote. Even when they did it electronically last time, they didn't break 2,000, I don't think. 3,700 members decided to vote. That's a lot of folks that care enough to participate. The way I look at it, once the dust settles, what comes next, I think, I'm optimistic, is going to be so much more powerful than what came before. I believe we're in the molten stage of combining metals and creating a harder substance on the other side of that. That's what I believe is going on. I don't know for sure. I'm not Nostradamus. I don't have psychic abilities. I'm not Professor Xavier. I'm just reading the tea leaves as I see them. And as I see it across the country, unionism is ramping up across the country. The vision, the approval of labor is through the roof for the first time. Across the country, you have activism happening everywhere. Why would we be any different? I think we're headed for good times. I think it's going to be hard before we get there, but I think that we are strong. And I think that, rather, I know that we're certainly stronger together. So hang in there. Good times are coming. Let's weather the storm. Let's make it through the other side. Smarter, wiser, more activated, and more willing to hope for a better tomorrow and to fight like hell to get there. My name's Eric. You're watching Union Minded. Remember, the fight's not left and right. It never was. It's up and down. Always has been. It's going to take solidarity to win. Always. And there can be no union, no strong union, without you and I front and center. Let's go. Peace.